Whoa, a theory which has no spoiler warning in the beginning? What is this? No, seriously, I don't know what to put here. Hello boys and girls, I'm the Flying Teacup, and here's a theory on the Titans. Now, this is not a theory on how they work, but why the original trio was replaced with the class-based Titans of today. In Titanfall 1, there were 3 Titans that you could choose: Strider, Atlas and Ogre. These Titans were quite different from the Titans that were used in Titanfall 2. That's because they had no predetermined weapon loadouts. This meant that you never knew what to expect when meeting a new enemy Titan. This created an element of surprise and increased each pilot's chance of survival. These were the first generation of combat Titans as we know today. But why would they change the Titans completely and bind one specific weapon to one specific Titan? That sounds more like a downgrade than an upgrade if you ask me. So why would Hammer Robotic do that? Aren't they supposed to improve the Titans? Absolutely, and that is what they did. You see, the 3 Titans represents a base. Pilots who prefer faster and more agile combat more likely prefer to use a Strider over an Ogre, and the other way around. This made them cheaper to create because all weapons were basically one-fit-all models. Something interesting about the new Titans is that there are multiple similarities between some of them and the original trio. Want me to point them out? Alright, let's start with the Strider chassis. The Strider's cockpit looks awfully a lot like Ronin's. The same goes for his limbs. The Strider's core is called Dash Core, which is, well, what it sounds like. It refills your dashes faster than normal. If you had paid attention to Ronin's Sword Core, you might have spotted that your dashes refills faster as well. Something that might be a little irrelevant is in Titanfall Online, which is a free-to-play port of the first game. There's a Titan called Strider Tier 2, which looks like a mashup between Strider and Ronin. Let's go over Ogre and Scourge. They both have hatches that opens the same way. They both got this camera just above the cockpit hatch and the same shoulder pads and... yeah, you get it. They are pretty much the same chassis cosmetically. The only difference is that Scourge has a huge eyeball in the middle of the hatch and a backpack. When it comes down to software, they are more different than similar. I'll talk about Atlas, Tone and Ion a little bit later. But why do I talk so much about such small details about the Titans? Well, because I believe that Scourge and Ronin were the first Titans to be created lore-wise. It might be easy to assume that Hammer Robotics might have made the new Titans themselves, but some evidence point that they got some help from Vinson Dynamics. If we take a closer look at Scourge's Thermite launcher, there's a huge Vinson Dynamics stamp on it, which indicates that Vinson Dynamics are responsible for the development of Scourge. Now, what about Ronin? Sure, he has a Vinson Dynamics nose art, which might hint that he's created by them, but honestly, that's a little bit too weak to assume that it's true. So what else can prove that Vinson Dynamics are responsible for the creation of Ronin? As far as we know, Vinson Dynamics are the only faction or manufacturer that has confirmed proof that they can create simulacrum pilots, and one of them being Ash as said in Vinson Dynamics' description. Would that mean that they are the one who made it possible to use phase shift and phase dash? My theory is that the Titans that are used in the second game are recycled chassis from the first generation of Titans, and that Hammer Robotics allowed Vinson Dynamics to experiment on new Titan chassis to create new ones and sell to them in return. That's why Scourge and Ronin look so similar to the old chassis. They created a health regeneration function which helped the Titans to recover health by batteries. They made it easily accessible so other pilots could help their own or other Titans. This came at a cost though. By adding this feature they had to trade off the regenerating shields, but that was a feature they were willing to trade. Hammond must have been so impressed by the new Titans that they gave them the possibility to make more. But now they wanted a new version of the Atlas to appeal more to the mercenary industry. And that led to the creation of Tone and Ion. Tone and Ion seems to be a mashup of Atlas. Ion have the legs, shoulder camera as well as the hatch on the top of her head from Atlas, which makes it difficult to say which one of them that came first. But it was most likely Tone because of the loadouts. So with that said, the second generation of Titans were out on the market and ready to fight. But it didn't take long until a new line of Titans were created by Vinson Dynamics. There were 3 new Titans which were Ion, Northstar and Legion. They were not a new generation, but an addition to the current generation. And of course, during this time the militia were developing their own Titan known as the Vanguard Titan.
Alright, that sounds cool. But there's one thing you forgot, Teacup.
I did? What did I forget?
The Prime Titans, what are they doing there? Why would they make twice the amount of Titans for no reason at all?
That is actually a good question, but luckily I have an explanation. What differs the Prime Titans from the normal ones? Well, obviously the chests themselves, but a little interesting detail is that their executions are different in a very specific way. They all, with an exception of Legion and Tone, uses their core during the execution. Iron uses her laser core to burn through the pilot as well as their Titan. Scourge uses his flame core to obliviate the other Titan. Ronin quickly hits the other Titan with his sword, and Northstar rips off the other Titan's arms and uses her flight core to shoot down and finish them by crushing them.
But you can use the Prime executions on the standard Titan as well now.
Yeah, if you bought the Prime Titans. So what does this mean? This might indicate that the core abilities are stronger and or often more accessible than the original chassis. The Prime Titans also seem to have something that amplifies their core ability. Igon's eyes seems to be a little bit bigger than the original. Scorch seems to have some kind of heat dispensing modules on his arms. Ronin's sword seems to be smaller but sharper. Northstar seems to be skinnier and lighter. Legion seems to be lighter as well, and Tone looks more boxy than the original, most likely to sustain more damage without breaking. But why are they called Prime? That seems pretty specific. They could just call them something like Titan 2.0. But what if this was how Vinson Dynamics designed the Titans originally, but they were forced to recycle the old Titan chassis? That might explain why they are called Prime Titans. But the Titan series doesn't stop there. After the battle on Titan, the IMC found 2 badly burned Vanguard Titans that were built by the Frontier Militia. They ordered Vinson Dynamics to reverse engineer the Vanguard so they could mass produce them themselves. Though this failed and eventually led to the creation of the Monarch. So does it stop there? At the time of this video, yes. Though there might be a Prime version of the Monarch in the near future, and if so, that might support this theory even more. So what happened to the old Strider, Atlas and Ogre Titans? Are they still being made or were they scrapped entirely? Well, no. They are still in production, but they are not used for combat anymore. In the map complex there is a panel where you can see a picture of the Ogre. But if they're not made for combat, what are they made for? I am unsure about that, but we can see 2 Atlas Titans helping out some farmers in the field in a single player cinematic trailer. And something very interesting is that they are Atlas from the 1st generation and not from the current 2nd generation. Another possibility is that they are used in combat like in Titanfall Assault, where all generation of Titans exist, but if that game is canon or not is yet to be confirmed. So what do you think? Do you have a theory regarding the different Titans? Comment down in the comment section and tell me. If you have another theory yourself, then comment down as well. And with that said, thanks for watching and take care.